Welcome to the 9642 podcast. This is your host, Mr. Number 9.
And this is The Fool.
Hello, everyone, and we are doing our livecast today as we lead up to the match today between the Black Caps and Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Virtual quarterfinal, where the team, for at least for New Zealand, if they get to win, they go ahead to the next round. Bit more complicated for Afghanistan, though.
Yeah. It's a bit of a three-way at that point, but yes, we should start the pre-show.
We should go to WT Bass and tell people to come on to our pre-show.
Probably should, yeah. I mean, have actual people on the pre-show?
And we're going to do a live commentary for the cricket tonight. Come join us if you really like or really hate cricket.
Yeah.
But if you're ambivalent, no, we don't. We've got too many people who are ambivalent about cricket. We don't have room for cricket people who are like apathetic. Afghanistan's net run rate is not terrible, 1.4. So
no,
they
only 0.2 behind.
It's
India.
only 0.2 behind India, but India do have a game against Scotland.
Yeah, so there is that.
So we can assume it'll at least go up by another 0.2 or 0.3. Like, obviously, New Zealand beats Afghanistan. It's all over anyway.
Yeah. So that's the simple calculation. Is New Zealand beats Afghanistan, we go through, doesn't matter what anybody else.
Of course, if Scotland beat India also, it doesn't matter the way. Afghanistan will go through if they beat New Zealand then.
Yeah.
It would have been more interesting than if this game was the later game and India played Scotland first.
Yeah.
I mean, it could happen. Scotland, they could do it.
They could.
It'd be like, we've come to this tournament, we want to win at least one game. Kill one giant. Like, it's crazy that the other group had like 3 teams on 8 points.
Yeah. That was a very crazy end. And for South Africa, West Indies sort of just were like, a bit of fun. And Australia got...
I think the West Indies were trying their best.
Oh, they were
win.
trying. Well, that was
because
being a bit...
now they have to be in the qualifying to get into next year's World Cup. Because, that's how the World Cups are normally done, once every year.
Yeah.
All the peoples are suggesting that Pakistan may have India may have gone too hard, made it too difficult for Afghanistan.
So that means Afghanistan won't try?
Maybe, because I think they've already qualified for the next tournament.
I see, yeah. I don't know, I think nothing to lose, right? May as well throw everything at it.
That's how I feel. Like, nothing to lose, you may as well. Given I picked them to go ahead, I wouldn't mind if they won. But I think at the moment, they're in the spot where they automatically qualify for the next year World Cup. And it's unlikely they'll go ahead even if they beat New Zealand. Because, like, in all honesty, India's not gonna lose that game against Scotland.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, the question is, how well will New Zealand play against Afghanistan's wrist spin?
That is going to be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've got the wrist spinners. Obviously, Rashid Khan is one of the best, and then we've got Ish Sodhi and Mitchell Santner, and it's the thing whether Mujib will be able to play for Afghanistan or not, and Mohammed Nabi. As one, if New Zealand do go through, I do get the feeling that Kane Williamson can just win back-to-back tosses and win the World Cup, because that's kind of what it comes down to, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
Especially in this day and age.
exactly. Yeah. It's interesting that leg spin just it's while it's incredibly effective in T20 and almost like the cheat code, and there's very few of them in the 5-day game.
Yeah,
And like and I think it's very hard for T20. Like Rashid Khan has done okay for Afghanistan when playing against teams like Bangladesh, but they there's very few that have done well in the 5-day game. Like I'm just trying to think, maybe there's only Yasir Shah of Pakistan is a test match
yeah,
leggy, and like everybody else, like because leggies and
yeah.
test matches, they're to be successful, you have to have a really good stock ball. So you just keep bowling that really good stock ball really well, and your variations come out very rarely. Whereas your T20, you want to keep bowling different over and over again.
Yeah, exactly. You
Yeah,
gotta have the variations. It's all about having good variations and good, um, just yeah, different
yeah,
ball every ball. So you say in test match,
yeah,
you need to bowl almost the stock standard leg break all the time, all the time, all the time, and then every now and then just throw in the one of the variations.
yeah,
That's sort of the opposite of T20 in
yeah.
terms of bowling um, strategy.
Yeah, and like it's also, I think there's not much, like I think New Zealand ironically have a decent amount of wrist spinners in the first class game that are playing. And I think New Zealand specifically are trying to promote spin, like promote spinning pitches and all this. Like I know that's the forefront of NZ cricket's, like we got to try and make pitches that grow good spin bowlers because we want to be able to win test match series away from home and all this. But like, there's not that many but even like, we're not going to say New Zealand have many. This is just mini by New Zealand standards, right? Whereas the Aussies, who are traditionally like one of the big wrist spin places, they don't have too many coming up. And England and the subcontinent, it's all about the offies and maybe the occasional left arm spin. Like there's wrist spinners for
Yeah,
like white ball cricket, like Chahal and Chahar alike, but everyone else is like finger spinner.
but no, I think you're right that New
Yeah,
Zealand's definitely trying to promote more spinners in the first class game. Yeah, it became very for a while there. It wasn't very spin
yeah,
friendly conditions or pitches, and so you say they didn't really our batters didn't really learn
yeah,
how to deal with spin. It became very obvious as soon as they went away from New Zealand conditions.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I think the toss is obviously going to be really, really important in this game. But te Afghanistan, for the first two games they played, batted first after winning the toss, which is obviously, okay. Teams rarely do that, and the teams that do tend to have Rashid Khan in them. So fair enough. They have Rashid Khan, so tick that box. Um, and But from then on, you've got the whole whether you if Pakistan, if you were Afghanistan, would you let New Zealand chase? Like you use your best, basically your bowling attack to defend?
I feel like if any team can do that, it's Afghanistan. At the same point, I don't know if I'd want to let that happen anyway, just because
Yeah,
like if you won the toss, you may as well that second. But I feel with Afghanistan, they've got the team not to worry about it as much. Like
Yeah,
if they do lose the toss, New Zealand guess what will bowl first. And Afghanistan's one of the few teams around I feel that can defend
yeah,
and can set themselves up to defend totals.
yeah. They have a good lefty in Hamid Hassan as well, so
Yeah, yeah,
it's a tough left arm fast bowler. So there's a decent bowling attack there for Afghanistan all round, not just their spin, which is obviously very good. Um, so apparently, Ishsodi had the concussion test and he's been cleared to play, so
oh,
that's
that's
good.
good.
So an unchanged lineup. Like everybody's gotten runs at some point in this tournament for New Zealand. So um, we've got Marlon Guptill got a good score. Daryl Mitchell, Kane Williamson kind of finished that game. Daryl Mitchell kind of won for us.
Yeah, yeah,
He hasn't had a big innings. Neither has Devon Conway at this stage, who's also wicket keeping. So that's a good balance, I think, in the team. But I think the fact that we finally got to see what Glenn Phillips and Jeremy Neesham can do is good, because I think that's like one of the key parts of that order, like that lower order hitting, like is like if we get Glenn Phillips and Jimmy Neesham to get a decent few overs
yeah, yeah,
from the middle to the death, then we can get a good score, even if we're batting first.
yeah. No, I think you're right. Like, and a good score. If we can get a good score, then at least allow scoreboard pressure to
Yeah,
do a bit, and maybe then also sudden death pressure comes into it as well. Especially since Afghanistan have got to really chase. They can't really do it in whatever we set. You say they can't do it in 20 overs. They've got to do it in 10 or 16 overs, whatever it will work out at.
yeah,
Possibly quicker to actually put pressure on India against Scotland, so that they
yeah.
can that net run rate means something.
Yeah, so apparently Afghanistan and New Zealand have never faced each other in T20 Is.
Oh yeah,
Find incredible. And apart from Martin Guptill, all of New Zealand batters have gone in strike rates of 111 or below against spin.
oh dear.
Yeah. So there's a even if New Zealand were to qualify for the next round, I guess they'll be facing England. So they
Yeah, yeah,
still have to look at facing Moeen Ali and Adil Rashid.
exactly.
But the
There is
rest
that.
of there is the rest of England's bowling are kind of there for the taking if they can put pressure on England.
Yeah, exactly. I think South Africa sort of showed that.
Yeah,
Did do their chase. Well, yeah, they chase well. No, they're setting well. So and definitely got the runs that were needed. So
what's funny here is the Cricinfo thing says it's Pakistan versus Scotland, but clearly it's India versus Scotland. Hilarious. So there's a few people out and about, I think. Illuminati and Nimrock and supposedly Twixt, but we know better than to assume Twixt is actually there. We like for top score today, by the way.
mm, don't know. I feel Captain May.
I think
Like
Daryl
was
Mitchell.
Daryl Mitchell definitely option. Uh, Captain had that 90, and I feel like he's still got some to do.
Yeah, I was gonna say this might be his last T20I World Cup, and then I remembered, oh wait, there's a second T20I World Cup exactly just next year.
Yeah,
So he's playing now. He can probably look to play next year too.
yeah, exactly.
R. Ashwin has already said India's gonna offer their physio to help Mujib recover.
Well, that's nice.
Or is it Namibia or Scotland that India are playing?
Oh, maybe it's Namibia then. I thought it was Scotland too.
I thought it was Scotland as well. That's why Pakistan are playing Scotland. That makes sense. Right, right. India are playing on Tuesday against Namibia.
Ah,
I should probably like our channel. Oh no,
yeah.
I already do like our channel.
Oh,
Also,
there's a few others.
eh,
Few other users on Twitch anyway. Yeah,
other
there's another TV
uh,
viewer, Debbie Moore, Ice Wizard, XYFM. So
welcome
welcome.
to our Twitch. Thanks for coming. If you have Discord and wanted to chat back to us, more than welcome to get on there and yeah, come at us with your questions and
Yeah,
whatnot. See, get any new people to join in.
you never know you like.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
You're saying there's another tournament in a year's time as well, so
That is another tournament in a year's time, in theory.
in theory.
In Australia, assuming, yeah, COVID protocols.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Wonder if that's why New Zealand are totally like opening is like, yeah, we don't care about numbers anymore. We're open. Come in, come in. Oh, we can have this T20 World Cup if Australia doesn't want it.
It would be a bit funny if that was within the thought process, but I think not.
Is
I think it's just the fact that it's Delta and Delta is a pain to eliminate, so you sort of have to deal with it in a different way.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, we're gonna probably get 500 peak at our peak.
Yeah,
So, and the government's kind of told everybody to expect that to happen.
yeah, yeah. The thing with the vaccines, it limits the impacts as well as the spread. So there's at least one thing.
Exactly. Uh, so did you hear about Aaron Rodgers?
No?
Uh, So the great quarterback of the Green Bay Packers was asked before the season if he was vaccinated, and he said, "Yes, so he said, "I am immunized." Everybody dropped it
Yeah.
and left it be, and now he's got COVID and he isn't vaccinated.
Oh no. Oh dear.
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers.
he tried to tell the NFL that his whatever crystal magic he was using should
Yeah.
count,
Oh no. Oh
and
no.
they're
Oh
like,
no.
"Nope, you got to follow the protocols of a non-vaccinated person," which he has done.
Yeah.
So that's not, yeah, he's kind of misled the media, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
one thing. Yeah, that's neither here nor there, but it's still funny.
That is a little bit funny, but oh
But
dear. Oh dear. Oh dear.
and like, because a lot of people who were back who were not vaccinated got a lot of crap for it, and so
Yeah.
like both the anti-vaxxers and vaxxers hate him because he's like, you didn't want to take the crap, and yeah, and yeah, anti-vaxxers like, you didn't want to take the crap, so you didn't say it
Yeah.
that you weren't vaccinated, and like obviously like non-anti-vaxxers are like, what the fuck, get vaccinated.
So I see here they did speak out in a show saying, I'm not anti-vax or a flat earther. So that was quite funny. It's putting those two together.
Yeah.
That's another way of getting the anti-vax crowd to be upset with you as well. So
Yep.
sounds like he wasn't really that interesting. Yeah, I was allergic to it, and alternative medicine seemed a good idea.
And if he has a medical exemption, that's fine, but even
Yeah,
then he has to follow the
yeah,
non-vaccine
yeah, yeah.
rule. Like especially if he's got a medical
Yeah, no, he's got a medical extension for the um, mRNA vaccine. He was allergic to an ingredient in it. He was just going down the alternative medicine route to being back instead of other
Yeah,
alternatives.
right. If he's legitimately not got a medical reason why he can't take it, then he can't take it. Like, there's nothing you
Yeah,
can.
yeah. So yeah, can't take
Because there's a
the
few Green
stimulants.
Bay fans who are upset with him because, like, not being vaccinated puts you at a disadvantage. Because in this situation, you might miss 2 games, which
Mm.
be life or death. It'd be the difference between home, conference finals versus not home conference finals.
Yeah, yeah.
Eh, yeah,
He didn't say
well,
which ingredient he was allergic to or how he knows he's allergic, but he said in the interview that he was allergic to it. That's why he was going down a different route.
right.
So take that as you want.
Take that as you will.
Yeah,
If you take it at face value, it's like, okay, fair enough, but then you don't say you're immunized. Like, that's,
yeah. Well, no, because he'd got he went down alternative medicine
yeah,
route and was like, I am immunized. I'm immunized by using the crystals or whatever he was using,
yeah,
just
and
not
like,
with the vaccine.
right, and and like rightfully the NFL went, yeah, no,
No, no, no. This means you're not vaccinated.
that's a yeah nah from us. But I think I like that in cricket they're just like, yeah, don't get vaccinated, yeah, you don't come to the tournament, fine. Like you know,
Yeah,
they're like potentially this was going to be played in India, which is a um hotbed of Delta. So
yeah, yeah. But yeah, who knows where that tournament will actually end up, and if it will be next year or put off for another year or whatever they're going to do with it.
yeah, we'll see. Crossed. Also, in other news, the Trent Bolt and Colin de Grandhomme have dropped out of the India tour.
Oh,
So I think this was already going to be, well, they've said bubble fatigue. Like, I'm not gonna dwell on that. If you have bubble fatigue, you have bubble fatigue.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
fine. Like not fine, but you need to take care of yourself.
yeah,
Like, there's
exactly.
I'm not gonna hold that against you. The so the flip side is who that changes the bullet because I think what do you think that puts our chances at in India?
Um, I would say that lessens chances quite significantly, especially with
Y-
Bolt. Like,
Yeah, it was already going to be a very tough series in
yeah.
India. I think
Look at not having Colin either. Like, he's the sort of bowler that probably would do well on the pitches. I don't know. We're missing his batting because I don't really
well,
feel.
no, like, if you're replacing Colin with Jimmy,
Yeah,
okay,
probably okay then.
or
Yeah,
maybe if you're replacing Colin with Mitchell Santner and you're
yeah, yeah,
taking another uh and you're taking in another spinner like Ajaz Patel
yeah,
or Sodhi,
yeah, yeah.
get
All three.
yeah, yeah. So I think you need to have Neil Wagner just
Yeah,
because overs he's so good. Paul Jamieson's just so good against India.
yeah,
And he's had a season of playing IPL on those pitches to
yeah,
learn.
exactly.
And we've got Tim Southee. It's not the bowling that's my issue really. I'm more wondering what's gonna be the what's gonna be the how our batting stands up. Like without CDG and like it's definitely a weaker batting lineup if we're replacing CDG with Joel Santner.
Yeah, but
Uh,
then I don't know. CDG never. He hasn't been that great on spinning pitches. Maybe I'm just wrong. Like,
um, like looking at our top five, Tom Blundell's untested in Indian conditions.
yeah,
Devon Conway's untested in Indian conditions.
yeah, yeah,
We've got Tom Latham, who's an absolute gun in Indian conditions.
yeah, yeah,
He does really well. We've got Kane Williamson, who, if he's not, we assume he's going to do well,
Yeah,
at
yeah.
Kane levels.
He'll do Kane stuff like he always
Like,
does.
do you beg Ross Taylor not to retire?
Yeah, you always do.
I feel like you need to because we know that Henry Nichols is terrible against off spin.
Yeah.
Like, how much has he been working on his facing off spin in the off season to improve? But I'm sure if Jared Kimber's made a video about how bad you are against off spin, I'm sure India knows that you're pretty bad against off spin.
Yeah.
Shout out
British.
to Jared Kimber.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a fairly well known stat now.
Yeah. So if he is, I mean, I think he can recover. I think he is talented. But he's a number five. Tom Blundell, coming in at number six. Okay, he's untested. So do you need to have Jimmy at number seven? That sort of lineup, just to give it some solidity.
Yeah, I think you almost do.
And number four, you need to have Ross Taylor, because
Yeah. You need that experience as
otherwise,
well.
yeah, it's very difficult. I mean, Will Young is a good player, but oof, it's tough to be making your debuts. Oh, I guess he made his debut tour in England, but it's different conditions, and I guess at some point he has to face Dick. So we'll see.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not in. It's in October-ish time. I think it's more around. It's the time when it does spin a bit more.
Yeah.
It's a bit warmer
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
still that time of year. So yeah, right after the T20 World Cup, the boys are gonna have to work hard. And would you, do you think Matt Henry just slots in to replace Bolt, the squad, if not the team?
Yeah, I think that's the natural replacement there.
Yeah,
If they enter the squad. Um, yes, he's the he's been the natural replacement for either Bolt or Southey in the last little bit, last few seasons, and there's
yeah.
no real reason not to think that will continue. Just because
So
they
what
want to
would
take
your,
an out and out fast bowler like Adam Milne or
yeah, Adam Milne, I think, should be given a chance, at least in the squad, if not
yeah,
necessarily he gets an opportunity in the games or not. Like, this is how I see the openers. Obviously, you're gonna keep Conway and Latham.
yeah,
Have been successful. You have Kane at three, Ross at four, Nichols at five,
yeah, I guess,
Lundell at six,
yeah,
Carl Jamieson at seven, Mitchell Satner at eight.
yeah,
I would have another spinner, either Ish Sodhi or Ajaz Patel at
yeah, yeah,
number nine. Um, 10 Saudi. I'm like you. Obviously, I'm not saying this is the batting order for when it comes after number eight onwards.
yes,
Probably Saudi would be number nine and Ajaz Patel at number 10.
yeah,
Um, and then your 11th guy, it's either Matt Henry or Neil Wagner, right?
yeah.
So do you open with Neil Wagner? Is he gonna like that's gonna make him very tired because he's so good as the first change bowler. And if you're not opening with Neil Wagner, are you opening with Kyle Jamieson and Tim Southey?
Yeah, well,
You're
it's
not,
pretty much in that lineup that you've got. That's pretty much what you have to do. Is either
because like
James or
Neil
Wagner
Wagner's,
over the open.
he's not gonna get that much swing in those conditions, so he's
No,
gonna have to be the spoiler guy.
yeah, yeah. Actually, I think
Or
Jameson Southey opening is probably the better
yeah,
bets there.
and your Wagner is first change, and you've got the two spinners in
Yeah.
your lineup,
In fact,
or
it may
you.
be a case of Saturn. I know you weren't really doing batting order, but Saturn batting above Jameson. So you continue picking Jameson as the bowler as opposed to an all-rounder option, as they've been doing, even though
I,
really
I
he's an
I
all-rounder.
feel like Kyle Jamieson is a better batsman than Mitchell Santner at Test level.
Yeah, it's probably true, but I was just thinking from more the um, pressure of performing. So
Yeah, yeah.
you
I think either of those two are good enough to bat number 7.
yeah,
They're absolutely well capable of batting number 8, like no doubt in
yeah,
my
yeah.
mind. Like that's
I say it was just
um
more the pressure of performing in India and being like, well, we know
like I think
Satner's been
would
there, done
you
that, so
would you rather Kyle Jamieson gets a chance to bat in with those 3 wickets in hand rather than only two?
I suppose there's that as well. Like, where does he feel comfortable? Um,
Like Minch Satner will be happy to like bat alongside a senior batter and can get
yeah,
to a 50 with that guy. Whereas I think Kyle Jamieson, if the team is struggling and you've lost wickets early, Kyle Jamieson's the guy who can like fire a quick fire 50 with Tim Southee.
yeah, yeah. No, I do get that. Yeah, I was more just thinking from the
And
mental
like
point of view.
Satner can be like the spoiler on the other end with Kyle Jamieson if need be.
Yeah, yeah. I think the two of them could probably be interchanged however you want in that 7-8 spot. I don't think you lose either way. I was just
Yeah,
thinking more from um, not putting too much expectations on Kyle, so that he doesn't feel doesn't feel too much pressure. Um, but that's
so
it. I mean, he's
there's
been in the team long enough now, and he's been performing and stuff. I don't think it's that big a deal,
yeah.
and that he can be freely picked as an all-rounder and be expected to bat and contribute with the bat as well, because he has
Yeah,
been. So,
if he can bat number 7, that solves a lot of problems for New Zealand going forward, right? Like
mm,
gives the team so many options. If you have it becomes a 4 line, goes from a 3 lines attack to a 4 lines attack.
yeah, yeah,
And you can pick a spinner, like a genuine spinner, not somebody who's been like a compromise choice because he bats okay, like
yeah, yeah,
just purely on how good a spinner they are.
yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think putting Kyle Jamison properly into the all-rounder slot gives us much more flexibility. Because you have say, CDG, you have Satner, you have Jameson, you have Nisham. So that gives a lot of flexibility in those sort of all-rounder spots of seven
Yeah,
and eight, um, and potentially with Nisham and Satner, you know, batting at 6 instead and letting the wicketkeeper bat at 7. A bit more rest if we need to. If there've been a long, a couple of long days in the field or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah, like
Tom Blundell is, I think, a very good bat. Somebody who
yeah.
could even open the innings level of good bat.
Oh, I think
I
he's
think
a
he could.
perfect.
I think a very good number 6.
Yeah, no, he's a perfect replacement for Watling.
Yeah,
And that is, yeah, he can definitely bat at 6, and
yeah,
and not be out of place. And most times, I think our order batting will be such that he'll have enough of a rest between the innings, fielding and the bat, and when he needs to go and bat, that it's not going to be that big a deal. So that's the only
yeah,
other issue is that the wicketkeepers having to concentrate the most on the fielders, right? So
yeah,
they're the most drained coming out of off
yeah.
the field. So
Do you reckon at some point Kyle Jamieson could bat 6 and Tom Blundell 7 with Mitch Santner 8?
yeah, yeah. I look at it and think that Satner's already at the point, or Nisham is already at the point they could probably bat 6, and Jameson definitely will get to the point in the not too distant future if he's not already there that
Like,
he could
assuming New
bat
Zealand bat
6.
first, win the toss, bat first sort of
Mm.
situation in a test match, like not chasing, would you not rather Blundell come in at 6? Like,
Oh no,
doesn't that
definitely. No,
give
no.
you more?
Blundell's. I'm not arguing that Blundell doesn't fit the 6 spot.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it was more just from a flexibility point of view of you know if he's been fielding out in the field for a long
I
time.
think like 6 is too much to ask of Kyle Jamieson at this
Mm.
point.
At
Like
this point,
7
yeah,
is like I would, I think, quite happily.
a drawn series is a result. That's
Yeah.
a good a good outcome.
Like a drawn series there, given we have to play South Africa at home, England away, a team I think we can beat South Africa at home, which is going to be a tough one. But yeah, and we've got I think Pakistan away.
given everything, but
Because India and England up,
Yeah.
and the West Indies and Pakistan have a drawn series. Kanpur is notoriously,
In England.
yeah, in England.
That's next year. Have any home tests yet? Yeah, yeah.
They find out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, if we can sweep the home series and take one away series, that's gonna be go a long way to.
Yeah, that'll definitely go a long way to putting us in a good
And
spot.
yeah, even if and draw
Yeah.
Boxing Day hasn't yet been determined, but I assume that's gonna be the basin.
Yeah, yeah. If it's Boxing Day, most likely.
And there's one from 3rd Jan to 7th Jan, which probably somewhere like Mount Maunganui
I
or maybe
guess
Hagley.
it depends on where they can, I guess, around COVID and stuff. So they might go Hagley just because it's more likely to be allowed to have crowds easier. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
sure. But yeah,
it
that
depends
should be
on
a good.
all that.
And New Zealand, South Africa are supposed to play February next year.
All right, that'll be a good series.
Yeah, I think I'm a bit then go to England and
Yeah,
I assume go to Pakistan some point November next year,
yeah, yeah.
and they host Sri Lanka November December. Year.
That'd be good as well.
Yeah,
So we seem to always be hosting Sri Lanka. It seems.
yeah, yeah. Sri Lanka's the eternal visitor,
Yeah.
but there's a reason for that apparently, because they don't have a until last season, and they didn't have a franchise league.
All
So
right.
their board is heavily dependent on visiting and having hosting teams
All
to
right. Yeah,
play.
yeah, yeah.
Sri Lanka's played the most number of internationals after England
All right.
and test matches. Like you wouldn't
Yeah.
think about that, like because England play a lot of test matches because they do a minimum 3 test series pretty much all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah. All the time. Yeah.
So yeah, all
Yeah.
right.
Sri Lanka's out there touring away, doing the hard yards.
I thought certain people had already gone to bed, but they
Oh,
haven't.
they haven't. These certain people should learn a bit, but
Yes.
I'm sure they'll be okay.
Harder
Okay.
to like be read them the riot act when it's like, yeah, I don't have school tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. Say what you want. Yeah, I can sleep in. Fine.
It actually works well for me if you sleep in,
Yeah.
because
Actually, let's go with that plan. Go to sleep now and sleep in. That's a great idea.
yep.
Yeah. My ones haven't quite learnt the whole sleep in thing.
Oh no, mine hasn't learned how to sleep in either, but she pretends, and then basically the last few, like she's managed to, like she get by sleep in, I mean she wakes up at 8:30.
Yeah.
Like that's the sleep in. Like she's not sleeping in till 10, 11 sort of
No,
thing.
no. 8:30. That's a big sleep in. There you go. I wish my ones were that late.
Yeah, but I think if she was asleep by like 8 or 9, she'd be up at like 7.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can ask Twix if he's listening. Can you hear us? If you're listening.
Not back on Twitch yet. Not showing in the users yet.
Oh, yeah, then
But the other four still there for us.
or if anybody else on the chat would like to, they can hear both of us.
Otherwise, I guess it's come to Discord.
Yeah, sure. Now we quick look at the tournament so far.
Yeah.
Um, do you think the two best teams have topped each group?
Um. Yes. I think. Yeah. I think the two best teams in each group of the tournament have done it. Um. I know South Africa came mighty close, and it's a bit of disappointment in having beaten England in the last game. Yeah, that's a wonderful result for them, but they didn't manage to beat Australia in the first match. So.
Yeah,
Um.
and also I think a bit of that match was win toss win match for Australia. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
tough. It's the toss has been incredibly relevant, I want to say, in this
Yeah.
World
Yeah.
Cup. That be fair?
That's yeah. Yeah. It's always fair. That's exactly what happens.
I think other than like the games against the associates or against teams that are extremely poor form, the side batting second has just won
Yeah.
every
I
game.
think South Africa against England's the only exception to that rule. They
Yeah,
managed to defend.
and I think India when because England's game against Sri Lanka showed the advantage. Sri Lanka were chasing um England's
Yeah.
score, and they
One six
looked
three. Yeah.
comfortable. Yeah, comfortable doing it almost. And we know England are probably a better T20 side than Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
Not unfair. I think Sri Lanka have done really well this tournament, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, a very worthy of their awesome kits, as we mentioned.
Yeah.
Some good young players coming up through the ranks. Because as I mentioned, there's a lot of like issues in Sri Lankan cricket with them not having a franchise league and
Yeah.
players not getting paid, etc., etc. So a couple of their player, 2 or 3 of their players have gotten picked for the IPL, and their captain
Yeah.
Hasranga is one of them. I
Oh,
think
cool. Yeah.
Hasranga an incredible tournament. Is one of the players who are in your I think team of the tournament 11s, like both with the bat and the ball.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then you've got your and like we knew Bangladesh, they're very over reliant on Shakib Al Hassan, and then they
Yeah.
could have won that first game against Sri Lanka. But and then 2 drop catches. Well, catches lose you matches. Dropping catches lose you matches. So that's
Yeah.
game
Yeah.
just gonna happen. But the whole yeah, they haven't played well, and once Shakib got injured, we knew it was going to be very difficult for them to uh, compete against the others. Um, the India, yeah, it's one of those things, right? If India were had started off their tournament the way they played their last 2 games, they would be favorites.
Yeah. Exactly.
Beating into, but like losing to Pakistan and then losing to New Zealand, just you know that you've put yourself in a position where you're depending on other results,
Yeah.
other teams
Exactly.
to do favors for you.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, if India make the semis and New Zealand lose, they're a tough team for England to beat, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, what do you think? Like, we've got our other semi-final matchup, Australia, Pakistan. I think this is the thing. I think Australia's happy to just make the semis. They're cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, they're just basically focused on the Ashes.
And I
At least
think
that's the impression I get from them.
yeah, I think so too. And I think at the moment Pakistan's on such white hot form this tournament. They've just really
Yeah.
gone
Don't get me
we're here to
wrong.
win. So
Like, don't get me wrong. If Australia win the toss, bat second,
oh yeah,
Pakistan are going to have a tough game, but it's a game I think they can win
yeah,
because they are that good.
yeah. I think exactly. I think that's about I think if it's the other way around, I think Pakistan wins the toss. I don't know if Australia's got it to beat them, but I think you're right in that if Australia wins the toss and bats second, then Pakistan have got enough there to potentially do it to win batting first. I think Australia still become favourites because that's the way of T20 these days. Um, but yeah, I think it's a closer game that way than the other way around, where Pakistan just
Yeah,
wins.
yeah, yeah. If the Australia play Pakistan, Pakistan won the toss, bat second, we're just gonna be like, yep, see you later, Australia.
Yeah, it was nice to have you.
Pakistan's in the finals,
Yeah, yeah. And I think yeah, if it's England New Zealand, it just win the toss, win the game. As you
Yeah,
say, England India could be a bit more like Pakistan Australia with Pakistan batting first, where India batting first might be able to hold it. Um, and very outside influence of Afghanistan England as the other quarter could be interesting just for the um, throwing
yeah,
England a curveball.
yeah. I don't think it's a coincidence that New Zealand's only lost game was against. Was it the game that they lost the toss?
Yeah, yeah,
So
you're
while I
right.
don't necessarily think New Zealand are on paper the second best team in the group, the fact they had some of the toss luck and they just carried it through. And we all know that this is why you should always pick Kane Williamson to be your captain. It's tosses.
He's the perfect captain. He wins the toss.
Yeah. Um, like obviously New Zealand played poorly in that game against Pakistan, so
Yeah, yeah,
I'm not saying Pakistan didn't deserve to win or Pakistan are not a bet were not the better side that day. But all your close games have been won by the team batting second. So yeah, that's the
yeah,
moral
yeah.
of the story.
That is the moral of the story. I think you're very,
Win
very
toss,
true.
win toss, bowl first.
Yeah, that's the magic formula for winning T20s. As long as you've got a halfway decent team or close enough in skill, that's how it works.
Yeah,
I mean, even um, almost worked for Scotland. I mean, it was 16 runs still. New Zealand won by, but you
yeah,
know, Scotland showed that you can put in a solid chase, even as a so-called minnow, but batting second.
yeah. Like as an associate side, I think they're quite proud of that performance against New Zealand.
Yeah, yeah,
Even Namibia, um, try like that's the game where Pakistan won the toss, batted first, just to test themselves. To be
yeah,
like, we are gonna have to bat first at some point in this tournament.
yeah.
They scored 189, decent. They scored maybe 144. Like, that shows you like how much easier it is to bat second.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, sure, they won by 45 runs, but that's they yeah, the fact that Namibia managed to get 140 odd against Pakistan, batting second. Yeah, this shows the value the toss has.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
And I think the only side that won the toss, elected to field, and lost that is probably one of the top sides is Afghanistan in their game against India.
Yeah,
And that, like, we can agree, like, that is like an incredible performance from India, one of the best performances by any team this
I,
tournament.
I think it pretty much is the best performance by any team. And I think
Agree.
the only ones to have scored 200 plus.
Yeah,
And this is including you've got four associate sides showing up against
yeah,
big stars that you would think might be able to post big totals against them, but it's India batting first against Afghanistan that put on a 200 plus, um, which is also showing that the value of if you do have to bat first, you need to bat big.
Yeah,
You need to have the
and
the
that's
one
the
thing that
thing.
works for you, which is scoreboard
The
pressure working for you.
it's one of the few. India have one of the few batsmen in the world who can really bat big and do it consistently. That's Rohit Sharma, right? He's just basically Mr. T20 runs.
Yeah,
I know
exactly.
India's obsessed with anchors, and God knows why. There's just so much of that theory.
Or
India, Pakistan to an extent, and Australia. Like New Zealand, if it wasn't Kane Williamson, like we wouldn't have an anchor in this team. Like this is the reason why
no,
Ross Taylor's not there. Like
yeah,
we
yeah,
just have the one guy who's there because he's the captain. And
yeah. We have one anchor.
if Brendan McCullum was still the captain of the T20 side, I don't think Kane Williamson would necessarily be in that T20 team. He
No,
was captaining the ODI and Test sides.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
I don't know.
uh,
It's still. Yeah, I think you're right. I was about to say
like
the anchor role still has a value when you've got one of them,
I think
but
got a
yeah,
value when you've got a weak bowl batting lineup. But
yeah,
if
yeah.
you're India
And
and
you bat all the way
you
down.
have
No,
3 or 4 players who can average 30 at a strike rate of 145 plus,
yeah, yeah,
why are you trying to convert them into players who average 50 at with a strike rate of 130 plus? Why?
yeah,
Like it's unnecessary.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
completely. Like those players who strike at 130 plus and average 40 to 50, they're a dime a dozen in T20 level. Like there's so many of them. Whereas your one people who can, consistently get like 30 plus runs at one at the strike rate of 140 plus, they're so rare, so incredibly difficult to find.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's just, and the thing is, you don't need to bat long because it's not a long game. Like it's only 20
Yeah.
overs. Like
I feel like unless it's the thing, right? Like unless you're building a team with wing backs, having only one wing back is a luxury. You don't need it.
yeah,
Just
exactly.
have fullbacks. Just have fullbacks, or just have like midfielders who track back and forth.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if we're doing a soccer analogy,
Yeah, yeah,
there. Like if you have a team with really good hardworking wingers who track back and defend, then you don't need your fullbacks to be super defensive. They can go forward and bomb and get runs.
yeah, yeah,
Now the yeah, so like India, England, see England don't bother with an anchor. Like every single one of their players hits. I think England have perfected the West Indies 2016 formula where they have six hitters, but their batters don't just sit there and block when they're not getting a six. They rotate the strike because the other guy
yeah,
can be
yeah,
the six too.
yeah, exactly. It's like, is this able to hit a six? No. Okay, boundary. Oh, not boundary. Let's rotate the
They've
strike.
replaced the dot ball with a two or a single,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
usually a two, and like it's basically made them into this incredible batting unit.
yeah. Well, that is also a secret of T20, which is you need to have power hitters, but yeah, as you say, it's a boundary
I,
or a single, or some, you know, tuck it into a gap and run as hard as you can and see how many you can get off that, and just keep
yeah,
the score ticking along.
yeah, and the Windies had a point because their argument was the team that scores more sixes tends to win games. And that's completely valid. Like,
Yeah, it's actually a true state. But
and so building your entire game around that, like, completely makes sense. It's the balls that you're not hitting for six or four, but what are you doing with that?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think yeah, thing you got to the writer that the hitter's got to hit, but the same thing. You can't just
I
block
mean,
four balls and hit a six and then think what you're doing after the last ball. Like,
yeah, and in yesterday's game, if Australia had to bat first, like if they had lost the toss, they would have lost that game. The West Indies would have beaten them
oh yeah,
yesterday.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
The
easy.
kind of form they were in, like the batters were in, like
Yeah,
like Kieran Pollard was having played a gem of an innings. This is the thing. This is like the last dance for the West Indies, and they didn't win. I think everybody thinks the universe boss and Dwayne Bravo, maybe even Kieran Pollard have all retired from T20 eyes
Well,
now.
brother,
I think Dwayne Bravo has
he's
said
officially
that
retired,
he's
and
officially retired. He's going to play franchise cricket for as long as he can, but
and
he's officially retired.
Chris Gale, I think, just wants to play one more. He wants to go out in Jamaica, so he wants to go back to Jamaica and like have a T20 match there, and that's his last match. He doesn't want to retire
Yeah,
not in
I
Jamaica.
think he's implied he might be playing even a first class season for Jamaica.
All right, yeah,
So, but I think if the West Indies next year ask him to come to Australia, he's not going to say no.
no, exactly,
He's like, that's my gut feel. I can't obviously confirm or deny
yeah.
one way or the other,
You
but
mean you
that
don't have a personal line to Chris Gale? Oh,
can't
disappointing.
say. Like I said, I can neither confirm nor deny.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think yeah, it sounds like ideally he wants to go out and have his final match in Jamaica. So have a T20 international with West Indies in Jamaica, and that's
Yeah,
how he sees his final match going. Plays that match. That's it. Um,
yeah.
it's just whether that can be arranged or not, I guess.
He's one of the few like West Indian Jamaican star players that still lives in Kingston. So yeah, I could totally see that. Uh,
Yeah,
like a lot of West Indian players like are based in America. I'd be
yeah,
surprised if he doesn't play in the new US Major League Cricket, which has come up.
yeah. I assume if they get that together, he would play.
I mean, Chris Gale is a regular in playing games in United States. They just like there's a very interesting podcast. Not, again, shout out to Jared Kimber and his Red Inker podcast where he talks to an American cricket journalist, as in a journalist, an American journalist who only reports on cricket.
Good times for that guy. Sure, he gets
Yeah,
a large readership.
yeah. No, there's like a decent, very big leadership because
Yeah.
like every World Cup, literally, they apart from the home side, I think since about 2007, apart from the home side, the country which has always sells the most number of tickets is the United States.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So that's basically the Indian, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, and Sri Lankan community that live there that like to travel. Look, if you have a India versus Pakistan game played in Uruguay or Brazil, it will sell out. There will be Indian people from America going to watch that game
Yeah, yeah,
who can afford to
yeah, yeah.
travel there and
Exactly.
go there. So that's the thing. So in cricket has a lot of grassroots and like participation, but as the way he mentions is like a lot of this is done through the business of brown paper bags, and literally he says like, people like Dwayne Bravo and Chris Gale show up to America, leave with the bag, brown paper bag, to back to the Caribbean, and like they play these weekend T20 tournaments that just
Yeah,
pop
yeah.
up in America like randomly,
Well, that's pretty
and
cool.
all the marketing is done word. It's like literally like it sounds like a 90s rave to me, like the way he describes it. Just like, and all the DJs are getting paid in brown paper bags,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's like all these tropes I'm so familiar with, just not in the context of cricket.
Yeah, just not for an international cricket match involving like international
I don't know.
superstars.
Yeah, like it's not an international cricket match, but like
Well,
match involving international players
superstars.
and
That's what I
like
meant, but yeah.
the crowd are not like teenagers or you know people from working class areas who can't afford it and are living on the edge of the law. These are like well-to-do upper middle class
Yeah.
guys who are watching these games, which is exactly also why the cricket there's always been a thing in America to try and break the cricket thing. Like
Yeah.
if cricket is even like nobody's saying cricket needs to be the more popular than baseball or something ridiculous like NFL or
Yeah.
basketball. Like if cricket's even the sixth most popular sport in the United States, that's huge
Yeah.
for cricket. Like sixth after like football, soccer, football that is.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and so I would be surprised given the money and everything if players like Chris Gale and Dwayne Bravo didn't continue on playing in America and in these pop-up tournaments.
Yeah. Yeah, so the money seems it would be there for them, and it'd be easy enough on their bodies. I'm sure that they
It's
could
a
manage it.
weekend. I think it's basically they get something like 40 to 50K for a weekend's work.
That's pretty good money.
Yeah, in the off season, you know.
Yeah.
So it's something that they do, and there's so I think we'll definitely see more and more of America, especially if Major League Cricket is a success. Corey Anderson is going there to play. He's moving to America permanently.
Oh,
He
cool.
may end up playing for the United States. Good luck to him.
Yeah.
Even if he does well against New Zealand, I won't hold him back.
No,
Well,
that's still pretty
I
cool.
think he was picked quite young for New Zealand, had a lot of issues, though he had good performances, especially in that 2015 World Cup.
Yeah.
Corey, so I'll never forget watching a great 50 live at Hagley Oval in the opening of the 2015 World Cup against Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
He'll always have a special place. Like every player who's scored a really brilliant knock in live, for me, has a special place in my heart. Like
Yeah.
I think that just happens with every sport, right? Like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
watch
Yeah.
live, great performance.
That's definitely something that sticks for you. If you're watching live and someone just has an outstanding game, you just remember it like, yeah, I was there when that happened.
So, like, what would you rate as one of your best live performances you've seen? I think
Um.
the league match you and I went to see, where Sean Johnson just absolutely like ripped open the Green Machine, the Canberra
Oh
Raiders.
yeah, that was pretty awesome.
That was like that was incredible. Like to be fair, everybody was good that
Yeah.
day. Like, team was just on fire. Like I knew after watching that game live they were gonna make the playoffs that year.
Yeah. No,
But
that was
yeah,
a pretty awesome match. I mean, obligatory All Blacks smashing Australia. Saw them 2 years ago, 2019, after they'd smashed us in Perth. And then we came back here
yeah,
and we actually tore them apart. So
yeah.
that was always a good one. Um, yeah, and the Kane Williamson knock against Australia in the world in the 2015 World Cup match as well.
Uh,
That was always a good one.
that was I think that game like it sticks in my mind just because it was so close. But
Yeah.
obviously, like like we'll always, if we ever meet Grant Elliott, we're buying
Oh
him a
yeah.
beer for that
Obviously,
game against South Africa.
there's that as well.
We would buy. I got to see New Zealand against Bangladesh as well. Martin Guptill scored a century. So
Oh yeah.
it's always, I tell you how much it hurts me whenever I have to critique Martin Guptill
Yeah.
performances, because I really really love him as a player, and like he's
Oh.
someone like my dad knows and all these other
Oh
things.
god.
So
Yeah.
like, my dad.
Whenever he's on form, Guptill's
Yeah.
just magical to watch.
Even on the field, he's like my favorite
Oh
fielder to
yeah. No.
watch
He's
when I'm watching live cricket,
yeah.
at a stadium that is.
And I mean, one thing for him is that his fielding is always on point. Like he's
Yeah.
such a good fielder. He's almost worth in a T20 match picking on his fielding alone and being like, and he'll
Yeah.
probably get us some runs. So
My dad was telling me for the tournament, he's like, I don't know, Guptill still got it on the field, and he's like, I think he's gonna, but I don't know if he might even be a liability now. I was like, no way, Guptill's no longer as quick, but
mm,
he's still guppy. And then there's the match after New Zealand, like Bangladesh had two drop catches from Liton Dash.
yeah,
He dropped them exactly the way a wicket keeper who's not wearing the gloves will drop the catch.
yeah,
Like they look exact like in between our hands, both drop
yeah.
catches.
Nice
So
wide
like
fingers. That doesn't
yeah,
work without gloves.
Yeah, and like the Martin Guptill took three catches exactly like those.
Yeah,
They're all bucket hands. I was just like, look, this is what Martin Guptill does for you. And then my dad was just like, you're right. Like as a fielder, that's just pure value.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
No,
those catches that you take are like are like wickets, right? Especially in T20s
yeah,
where they're so like a team that I think New Zealand as a team tend to make the most of their chances. They don't generate as many, but when they do generate them, they take them,
yeah,
if that makes sense.
yeah, yeah. I know what you mean, and I think I'd agree that in general, yeah, if there's a chance to be had, we'd really taking it. It's very rare
Yeah,
to see one be put down. It happens, and I think it happened the other day. Sorry, dropped a catch, but
yeah,
generally, yeah, it doesn't happen.
yeah. Also, like remembering some of the great performances I've seen. Like the first ever live cricket game I went to see was at in Eden Park in 1997. Sorry, 1998.
Yeah.
And it was against Australia, and it was a game where New Zealand were at one point 112 for 5, batting first. And who else but Chris Harris came in and batted with Adam Prori, and then eventually what's his Daniel Vittori. He got a 75, got us to 225. This is back in the day when that Eden Park pitch was just slow and
Yeah, yeah,
take spin, and Mark Priest of all people, Canterbury legend, got three
yeah,
wickets to win us the game.
yeah,
Obviously, Chris Harris is a Canterbury legend as well,
yeah, yeah,
but he's also a Black Caps legend. But
yeah.
Mark Priest
He's just a
is like
legend.
you have to be like a real New Zealand cricket fan to recognize that name, I think.
No, I yeah, think so too. Like, well, at least to pick it up
Yeah.
straight away.
Yeah,
Um,
he's got 400 wickets, first class, yeah,
yeah,
New
yeah, no,
Zealand.
he was a
So,
brilliant first class bowler.
yeah.
Didn't get as
Um,
many black caps chances, but that's just
yeah,
life sometimes.
his life, exactly. But yeah, that was my first ever, and I think in my second ever game, New Zealand was playing the West Indies, and this is actually in not it's not my second ever game, but it's one of my favorite games I watched at the, Eden Park. It was on New Year's Day, 2000, the first year of the millennium,
Yeah,
and West Indies came on batting first. Brian Lara scored 85 off
nice.
70 balls. Incredible knock.
Yeah,
Just so good. They scored about 285-ish, and New Zealand chased that down with both Chris Cairns and Nathan Astle scoring 80 each.
yeah, yeah. Pretty cool. And strangely enough, my memories of Black Caps games from the early 2000s tend not to remember the performances as well, but the atmosphere in the terraces,
Yeah,
which were always hilarious. You know,
yeah,
watermelons
for
and
sure.
getting claps off Stephen Fleming and all the rest
Yeah,
of it. Always, it was always fun times, especially if you're playing Aussie and had one of them in the field down in front of us, and we could give them shit for everything. But most of them were pretty good value and would give it back, so it was always fun.
yeah, for sure. And I think the other thing is like most of the game. It's been, I think, to be fair, against Australia matches I've watched at Eden Park. I think I've only seen us lose to Australia once. Every game otherwise has been a win for New Zealand.
Yeah, yeah,
Whereas South Africa, the team, like at Eden Park especially, like I just whenever I go to watch New Zealand play other than that World Cup. I remember, I think we talked about this because it's like I've never seen New Zealand beat South Africa at Eden Park.
yeah, something like that.
And you were like, you're not coming. And then I was like, no, I'm coming. But yeah,
I didn't say I wasn't coming. Just bad feeling about this.
yeah, for sure. But the, yeah, I think the atmosphere is just different at Eden Park, right? Like the terraces, because it wasn't covered, you got people just kept drinking because the sun was on you all day, especially because there wasn't day-night tests. You were watching, especially day matches. Like if it was a starts at 12,
Yeah, yeah,
10 game that 10-11 game that finishes at about 6-7 o'clock,
yeah, yeah.
opposed to like a day-nighter.
Oh, the day games were always fun. People
Yeah,
just got real crazy then.
yeah, yeah. Whereas it's like way more like genteel now with the
Yeah,
um
yeah. It's got a lot
because
more
the terraces are
civilized.
covered. They have sun, they have shade. Like people like don't drink as much.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think also like where we are at the terraces, you now look at it side on instead of looking at it
Yeah, down the pitch.
the
It used to
on
be
the
real good,
pitch.
but you could get to the side of the terraces and almost look directly down the pitch,
Yeah.
which was a fun place to be. Get in
Or
early, get your spot right, and
down the pitch or directly as the bowler is bowling in, so you get to see them run in and
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Well, if they were a left-hander anyway, but
Yeah. So looks like the news is Mujibur Rahman is the first to turn up for Afghanistan training and is wheeling away, bowling darts at the wicket.
oh, nice.
Lance Klusner is keeping a close watch.
Good for him.
Who's the coach, obviously, of Afghanistan. But yeah, there was a rumor as well that what you call India would lend Bumrah to Afghanistan. All hacks. So for the next T20 World Cup, at the moment, we are playing some games that are relevant, like for the 2022 World Cup, relevant games. USA is playing Belize
Ooh,
right now,
wow.
and they're gonna later on play Panama, and then the Bahamas are gonna play Canada. This is all being played in the West Indies, sorry, in Antigua, at the Sir Viv Richards Stadium. You know you're a gun when you've got a stadium named after you. I think that's
Yeah.
all I have to say about that. And to mention other things, like in the Africa group to qualify, Cameroon are playing Sierra Leone.
Yeah,
Cameroon scored 89 for 9. Tough, tough day out. Sierra
yeah,
Leone need 56 runs, but they've already 35 for 3.
yeah. Oh, 7 overs, but it looks like
The match being played in Rwanda,
yeah,
and there's a game tomorrow between Botswana and Tanzania.
yeah,
Tomorrow for us, which is still like maybe only a couple of hours away.
yeah. That's in 2 hours 15 minutes. So
Yeah. But it's great to see the so many countries outside the Commonwealth playing.
yeah,
Yeah, Cameroon, USA, obviously we mentioned. Belize is obviously a Commonwealth country. I believe it's also a like a monarchy, like the Queen's their queen.
all right, yeah.
Don't quote me on that. Yeah, we live in the Google era. Why am I potentially saying wrong things? But yeah, I know it's a former, uh, it's a former British colony,
Yeah.
but they have a royal anthem, so that better be a monarchy. Unitary, yeah, constitutional monarchy.
And
There
there we
you
go.
go. It's also one of the few, I think, Commonwealth countries where both English and Spanish are the official languages.
Well, there you go.
They like playing cricket. Yeah, can't blame them.
No, can't play in the middle.
Like commiserations because cricket will kill you, but
Yeah.
it game. Yeah. So I think I don't know when does the streams usually start.
Yeah. I'm not 100% sure. Don't know yet. So I don't even know if I have got a proper one yet or not.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. I was giving it until about 10:45, 10:50, and then
Yeah.
start worried about whether you find anything.
Yeah. We could. I'm gonna have a few backups just in case.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. Like this is the one that I know works because there's like a billion like pop-ups. Very carefully like close them all, but once you've done it, it's like, yep. There's one of those that are very difficult to watch on your phone, but kind of doable on a PC.
Yeah, exactly. I can find myself some backups.
Yeah. Okay, I think I found one that does work. 'Cause
Ooh.
they're already doing like previews. Oh, they're gonna be the toss.
Ooh.
Yeah. May or may not have sent you something that I'm not putting on the public.
I'm sure that that was a thing that may or may not have happened.
Yep. So there's been 4 teams that bat first and won, and 5 teams that have bat second and won in group one. This group.
Yeah. It actually is not a bad ratio.
Yeah. But when you consider there are 2 associates in this group.
And I think in most of those cases they're the ones batting second. So
Yeah. Tails. Tails.
tails always fails, man. Tails always fails.
Afghanistan going to do at first, so you're back to the
Bat first.
Bat first. Ooh.
Celebrate good times. Come on.
Woohoo! Do 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 do. That's a bold call there.
There is. Yeah, it's a day game. Like I think day-night game he wouldn't bat first because of the
Yeah.
dew,
Yeah.
which is I think even skewed the whole batting, uh, the advantage of batting second
portion of the
even more.
world's population are cheering you today, Afghanistan.
Mujib is playing.
Nice. Watch on mute so that I don't crowd the stream with the commentary.
Oh, he would have batted first, he says.
Oh, that is interesting. Oh, it's on a well-used surface, I see. Expecting it to deteriorate more, and therefore batting second would be harder than normal. We're going with the same people.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah.
So, whether the pitch is going to do enough in the second innings to justify batting first.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what have we learned? Don't get in Kane we trust when
In
it
Kane,
comes to deciding after the toss.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a big thing. He was saying the same, that he would bat it first. So that does sort of suggest that the pitch is going to be worse, and the normal benefits of batting second in a T20 aren't going to be there.
True.
Yeah. But are we still in New
Yeah.
Zealand trusting? Think we're going to make it?
Yeah.
I mean, I know both captains seem to think that the pitch is not there, but I don't know. I just feel in
I
T20s that the knowledge you get from batting second sort of.
Exactly, and I guess unless obviously they get a very good score, like I think if Afghanistan end up scoring uh like 180, that'll be a tough chase for New
Yeah.
Zealand.
Oh, definitely. I think this World Cup sort of shown that. I think even 150s have been chaseable, but above that, like
I
not
think
been a it hasn't been a super high scoring tournament really.
yeah, New Zealand definitely want to try and get Afghanistan or under 160, I think.
Definitely, possibly even under 150
Yeah, if that's possible. Well,
if
it depends a lot on the Trent and Bolt and Tim Southey.
yeah.
So we'll see how that first inning goes. So when are they officially supposed to start?
At 11. Yeah, first ball should be at 11 p.m. our time.
Bangladesh and Afghanistan are assured of Super 12 spots, and oh, that's because they beat Australia and New Zealand. Those home things. So
Right, yeah.
who is assured of a spot? So both West Indies and Sri Lanka will have to play that additional qualifying round. So basically, the winner and the runner-up of the T20 World Cup are in the Super 12s alongside the next six highest-ranked teams. So England, Pakistan, India, New Zealand, South Africa, and Australia had already qualified. West Indies are are have to be in the qualifying round, and so does Sri Lanka. Bangladesh are through along with Afghanistan. Yeah, thing. Wonder if Zimbabwe is allowed to play in the next 20 World Cup.
And good question, really. Not sure.
Because they were banned from this one.
Yeah,
And we got to see those wonderful jerseys from Papua New Guinea.
it seems to indicate that they're part of the qualifying.
Okay, Zimbabwe are part of the qualifying, looks
Yeah,
like, because in the qualifiers for the qualifiers, Namibia, Scotland, Sri Lanka, and West Indies have already qualified. I assume because they managed to make it to the um, qualify for the tournament proper.
yeah. Yeah. The 12 teams that reached the Super 12 phase of the 2021 tournament auto qualify for the 2022 tournament.
The next four highest ranked sides are Zimbabwe, Nepal, the UAE.
Yeah,
Along with the other guys, Ireland, Netherlands, Oman, and Papua New Guinea.
yeah.
Makes sense. And the rest comes from regionals. So there's some interesting team in these regionals. The Philippines, Hong
Mm-hmm.
Kong,
Yeah,
Bahrain, Germany, and Jersey. There's going to be two from the Americas and another one from Africa.
yeah.
What do we reckon? If Cameroon? Come on, Cameroon.
Come on, you can do it. The match going like. I know Sierra Leone seems to be steadying the ship now and
Sierra Leone.
heading towards that win. 58 for 3. You need just 32 more runs from 64 balls.
Yeah, that's a tough ask for Cameroon to defend, I think.
Yeah. They need the wickets. If they get some wickets, it might be a different story. But let's see. Looking at the quick info, the worm for Sierra Leone's really shot up in the last couple of overs. So
Current, the current partnership between Zahid Khan and Arvind Karai has steadied the ship. Like,
they'll be going just over 6 runs and over for the last 5 overs, which looks mostly to be this partnership. The
yeah,
wickets before were not looking as hot.
yeah, there seems to be a lot of diaspora people in this. Just looking at a lot of Indian names
Yeah. Chokra.
there, who are in that Sierra Leone team, but there's not, at least by looking at the names, and that's not always an indicator.
No.
Most of the people in the Cameroonian team seem to be like, Cameroonian, all those French surnames.
Oh yeah.
Interesting if they did make it through.
Would be interesting. Yeah. You have to pull Cameroon having to pull something out of the bag very shortly if they're gonna do it though.
Yeah. They're actually commentary.
No. Just ball by
They
ball.
just have like ball by ball. That's just not bad.
Which is, yeah, still pretty cool.
Good coverage cricket. But yeah, Zahid Khan is very quickly taking this game away
Yeah.
from Cameroon.
Looking at it, this is the playing for the bottom 2 teams in the Group B qualifier.
Right.
Tanzania are on top of that group currently. They've played 3 matches. Everybody's played 3 matches. Mozambique, who's played their 4th. This will be Sierra Leone's and Cameroon's 4th, I think. Tanzania is on top with 6 points, 3 wins. Botswana, same. Net run rate of Tanzania is 6.2, while Botswana's 4.1. Then you go to Mozambique, who's on 2 points, and Sierra Leone's on 2 points.
Tanzania have technically made it to an ICC tournament before.
Oh yeah?
And I believe in the 1974 ODI World Cup, or 76, but anyway, there was East Africa in that tournament, which included Tanzania, back at Tanzania, Uganda, and Kenya.
All right.
So yeah, this would be their second appearance. They were to qualify.
Pretty cool. So yeah, that'd be they're looking pretty good. I mean, they got top of the table clash starting later, and they play Botswana.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. That'll be the last game. Yeah, pretty much be a winner takes all for this qualifier group.
Yeah. So that's gonna be interesting. They were to get there. So like, other than I think Africa and Bermuda, almost every other team to have played in a ICC World Cup sorts, other and Oman, who made their debut this time, obviously.
Yeah.
They've all made a repeat appearance.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But yeah, the winner of that game will go to the final qualifier. That's Kenya, Nigeria, Uganda, then the winner out of that, Botswana.
Oh, this East
Okay.
Africa also included Zambia.
Oh right. Oh.
So 4 countries: Kenya,
Yeah.
Uganda, Tanzania, Zambia. Then after the 86 basically after the '86 ICC trophy, they split up, but
All right.
and the last two times they played together, it didn't have Kenya because Kenya went.
We're good enough. We don't need you guys. They didn't go the West Indies route and stay together.
Yeah, which is, I think, fair enough, given that
Mm.
most of these countries are big countries with a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like I think Kenya and Tanzania are due in 2050 to have the largest in the world.
Yeah.
Demographics turn out right. The What would you like to see? Seem like the Philippines making it to the World Cup would be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool, actually.
A representative from Southeast Asia,
Yeah, yeah.
and they're supposedly in the Pacific group for uh for cricket, so they
Yeah,
technically
East
are
Asia
like in,
Pacific, yeah.
so like after PNG, taking the they're taking one of the slots from the from the Pacific side. So teams like Fiji and Samoa or Tonga have missed out,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Because yeah, I know they get a lot of rightfully lots of exposure for their rugby, but the Polynesian islands, who are like New Zealand, Australian, and English colonies, are all also like cricket's a big game there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's an intrinsic part of their culture,
Yeah.
as not as intrinsic as rugby, but it's an intrinsic part of their culture too. Like it is the summer game.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like the actual qualifying tournament was cancelled. So the Philippines went through just because they were the highest ranks out of all the
Right.
teams in
That's COVID.
that region.
Yeah. But who do we like from that Americas group?
I'm just having a look.
There's no games played. There's Argentina, the Bahamas, Belize, Bermuda, Canada, Panama,
Panama,
and the
and then
USA.
could be interesting to see. Um,
The USA are playing two games the same day.
hey, look at that. They are too. I still know everybody's playing very close together.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is pretty crazy.
In the same ground, but still.
One after the other, it must be, is it? Yeah. You play Belize at 9:30, then play Panama at 1:30.
Yeah.
Anybody else get craziness like that? Oh yeah, Belize do it the next day on the 8th.
Right.
So Canada and Panama. So it looks like everybody's going to do it. Maybe.
Yeah.
United States play the next day as well, the 8th. And there's a day off on the 9th. Yeah, then Argentina play 2 games on the 10th. Must be that's working out. A pretty crazy
Yeah.
schedule for them all, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's only two cricket grounds in Antigua, so two
Yeah.
big ones, I guess. I see standard ones. I'm sure there's lots of cricket grounds in Antigua. But I guess it's easier as well that they're hosting it all in the one place, which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
good. But it's literally like starting this week and ending this week. But it's like it's an interesting group of players.
Yeah.
Like you're looking at Argentina, it looks like it's all locals.
Yeah,
Hardly
yeah.
any diaspora people in that team.
Yeah, it's looking very localized.
And with to be fair to the other countries, if just because they have an East Indian name doesn't mean they're not locals.
Yeah, yeah. No.
Like the Caribbean obviously has a long history in people living there, continent in general.
Yeah. As you said before, it's not a perfect
Yeah,
way of determining anything.
exactly.
It suppose it shows heritage a bit as well. So, yeah, you're more likely to have grown up with a cricketing culture.
Yeah.
Whilst, yeah, so that's not a perfect fit either. So, and
Yeah.
say obviously the people playing in the Argentinian squad have grown up with some sort of cricketing culture because they're playing cricket. So,
So there's an interesting thing that the first, because India bans players who play for India to play in any tournaments over T20 franchise tournaments.
right.
So there's an Indian player who's playing in the Big Bash League next year, whose name escapes me now. Basically, he's moved to America to play for the United States team. He's going to play Major League Cricket, so he
Oh, cool.
no longer qualifies for India. But he captained the under-19s Indian team to the under-19s World Cup
Oh, cool.
back in the day. This team, which included players like Virat Kohli and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, no surprises they won the under-19s World Cup. Yeah, the anthems are going
Yeah.
after the anthems, or
We might as well say goodbye on stream now, and I'll.
all right. Well, good luck, everyone. We hope you enjoy the match if you're watching. But yeah, let us know what you think, stuff you want to bring up as well. But in the meantime, take care. Hope you enjoyed yourself, and thank you for listening.
Catch you next time.